The cost of living has gotten completely out of control. Food costs, utilities are through the roof, and don't even get me started about inflation. If you're thinking about moving or relocating to Columbus, Ohio, you're probably wondering how Columbus compares to where you might be moving from. Well, in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. I'm going to talk about housing, taxes, utilities, gas, transportation, and food, and it all starts right now. So let's go! If you're new to my channel, my name is Mark Van Stein. I make videos about real estate and what it's like living here in Columbus, Ohio. My goal is to give you, the viewer, a really good sense of what it's like to live here. The cost of living is hard to put some real numbers on because it's just so subjective. And don't even get me started on the websites out there that are just going to give you some sort of average. There's just too much inconsistency. What I'm going to do is use myself as a real life example, so hopefully you can get a really better feel on how much it actually costs to live here in Columbus. Let's get started with housing, and this is going to be widely different depending on where you live in the city. Housing in Columbus is super expensive, even compared to some of the other parts of the country. Now, is it in San Francisco or New York City expensive? No, but it is higher than many similar sized cities in the Midwest. When you get into the more desirable areas, it's going to get even more expensive. If you're thinking about renting, the average rule of thumb I like to use is somewhere between $1 and $1.50 per square foot per month. That, of course, will change depending on the amenities that apartment complex may have. Thinking about buying a house, it can even be a greater swing. Currently, the average home price in Columbus is around $347,000. Now that has gone up significantly in the past couple of years. The average sale price is up over $100,000 from just 5 years ago. Our market has gone through the roof like many of the other areas in the country. But depending on where you live, $350,000 might not even get you anything. When we talk about the most expensive areas like a New Albany or a Powell, $350,000 is not going to get you very far. In some cases, nothing at all. I'm just finishing up a video where I break down the housing prices in some of the most popular areas in Columbus. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it when it gets dropped. Before I move on, if you're thinking about moving or relocating to Columbus, Ohio, and it's totally stressing you out, make your life a little bit easier, and let me and my team help. I'm a full-time RE/MAX Realtor and been helping people relocate and move to Columbus for over the last 20 years now. I'm actually a third-generation real estate agent. You want to make sure the agent you work with is not only going to help you find your dream home, but also, more importantly, make sure you make a good investment. And that's the way that I work. But I don't want you to take my word for it. After you watch the video, click the link below in the descriptions to see testimonials from people just like you who found me through these videos and listen to what type of experience they had working with me. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, however you want to reach out. I'm pretty easy to find. Next, let's talk about taxes. If you watched any of their videos on this channel, you know that I talk about taxes quite a bit. And for good reason, because the property taxes in Central Ohio are very high. But it's just not the property taxes you need to be concerned with. You also need to be aware of the local and RETA taxes because each area is going to be a little bit different. For example, like I mentioned, I live in Powell in Olentangy schools. And having a mailing address, but I don't live in the city limits. Therefore, I'm not subject to the Powell city income taxes. The developer of my neighborhood specifically built it because he lived in Powell City proper and was sick and tired of the taxes. And that's the case throughout different parts of the city. With regards to property taxes, I'll give you a good example of the home that I grew up in and how different it was. So, I grew up in an area called Worthington, went to Worthington schools, lived in the city of Columbus with a Columbus mailing address, had a Dublin post office, and a Dublin phone number. On top of that, we lived in a township. So the township we lived in had its own police and fire department, which was also very expensive from a tax standpoint. Like I said, in Central Ohio, it can get very, very confusing. A super helpful resource are the county websites. On the Franklin and Delaware County sites, which are the two main counties here in Central Ohio, there are property tax estimators. You can literally plug in an address, a purchase price, and it will give you the estimated taxes on that specific property. Next is going to be the food prices, and this one blows me away because it's gotten so expensive. $6.50 for a bag of potato chips? Really?
What?
Give me a break. And because I'm the one who does the grocery shopping for my wife and I have a really good sense of what the pricing is out there. It can be a little bit subjective depending on where you shop, but my weekly grocery bill is about $250 a week. And it's not like I'm eating filet every night. These are just brand name essentials, not including alcohol or anything else crazy expensive. And I'm shopping at our local grocery store chain, not a Whole Foods or some super expensive specialty store. And it's just my wife and I. And my wife really doesn't even eat that much. So if you're a family of 5 with some growing hungry kids, you can see how this number can escalate very, very quickly. There are some bulk grocery stores like Costco's and Sam Clubs in the area, which can help out. But again, we're just talking about averages here. Gas is going to be next. The cost of gas is going to be pretty similar as many of the other cities in the Midwest. When I filled up my car yesterday, it was just under $4 a gallon, and that's for the premium stuff. You can definitely find regular gas out there in the city for just over $3 a gallon. What we don't have are the very high gas prices like you're going to find out in California, or the super low gas prices that you're going to find in Texas or other parts of the Southwest. We're literally pretty average across the state. Next is going to be health insurance and health care, which is really good here in Central Ohio. Nationwide Insurance is actually headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. They're just one of the 16 Fortune 500 companies that call Columbus home. How good is your insurance provider? You have a high deductible? Do you have children? There are lots of variables. Insurance is expensive across the board, and it really depends on your type of plan and the size of your family. What I can tell you is that we have some really good health care here in Columbus. The two largest companies are Ohio Health and the Ohio State University. Both have amazing hospitals. Ohio State University is actually just finishing up a $1 billion hospital right on campus. It's hard to miss it as you're driving down the freeway. They also have the James Cancer Hospital, which is really well regarded. We are also lucky to have Nationwide Children's Hospital right here in Central Ohio, a renowned nationally children's hospital. I actually have an acquaintance who is flying in from California with their 6th son for 3 months just to receive treatment there. It's that well-known hospital across the country. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about utilities. Cable, if you still have cable, and phones seem to be in line with the rest of the country. Water and sewer are going to vary by municipality, but water will run about $50 a month, and sewer is going to be about $100, which in my understanding is going to be on the less expensive side compared to other parts of the country. Trash is going to depend on where you live in the city. If you live in Columbus proper, the trash and recycling is going to be free, or rather you pay for it as part of your taxes. If you're like me and live up in Powell, you're going to have a private trash service, and it's about $200 a quarter. And down in Upper Arlington, you actually have to buy individual stickers and place individual stickers on every single trash bag and recycling bag that is brought to the curb. Electric and gas will obviously be the two most expensive. Many homes in Columbus are both gas and electric, but not all of them. Obviously, gas is used for heat and electric is used for AC, but some properties don't have gas and only work off electricity. Unfortunately, electric heat is just not nearly as efficient as gas heat. It feels much cooler and costs a lot more in the wintertime. My mother and father live out on some acreage in Delaware County and only have electric, and in the wintertime, they have a hard time keeping their home a comfortable temperature. We had a 2-week-long cold spell here in Columbus this winter where the temperature was right around 0 degrees or lower. And I heard all kinds of comments about $800 to $900 electric bills that month from people who just had electric heat. It's just not that efficient at low temperatures. Whether you're buying or renting, make sure you have an understanding of who the utility provider is. Many of the developers who own apartments and condos have their own utility companies, and they require you, the homeowner, to buy their service through them. It's a huge moneymaker for the developer and can cost you more money every month. Ohio is a deregulated utility state, meaning you should be able to shop around your utilities to get the best deal out there. Well, that's it. I hope you found the video helpful. If you have any questions about Columbus, drop them in the comments down below. And again, if you're planning on moving or relocating here, feel like you need some professional assistance, please reach out. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whichever makes you more comfortable. Like I said, I'm pretty easy to find. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos on what it's like living here in Columbus, Ohio. Until next time.